This is WGRG 100.5 FM, where we meet the absolute minimum FCC broadcasting standards. It's time to hang on and brace yourself for a community radio program that's frankly indescribable. Let's talk Geneseo. Two guys with nothing better to do on a Friday morning but to talk about our community. Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and City Alderman Keith Kennett. And yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, puts the blah in blah, blah, blah like these guys do.
And you're listening to WGRG. Turn that down.
Maybe.
On this Friday morning for Let's Talk Geneseo, I'm Keith Kennett along with co-host Brandon Meglin. Brandon, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
It's another Friday morning here on LTG and another below zero temperature.
Yes, looking forward to the Fridays when we come in without a coat.
Yeah, not only is it cold outside, it's a comfortable 59 degrees here in the studio as well. So we like it to be cool in here, and so we have no problem meeting that standard.
Yeah, those watching on the stream will notice that Mr. Kennett has not removed his winter coat.
I have my parka on. I have a heated rolling stool. 7 floor heaters.
Get you one of those
me.
heated vests for under your parka there too, maybe next
Maybe
time.
a trip to Farm and Fleet later to get one of those. That'd be nice, yes. So anyway, we appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. Full program this morning, and we'll maybe jump right in it and turn it over to Mr. Brandon to introduce our 2 familiar and special guests this morning.
Absolutely. Well, we welcome Mark Gravichetsky, Quad Cities Investment Group. Oh, no music this morning.
Oh,
wait.
No, I was actually going to work that in a little bit later, but let's just go right to it now.
Why not?
That's right. Mark's feeling it.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
And then Jen Johnson, did you pick out an intro song yet? You know, this is your 3rd appearance.
Yeah, no.
Once you hit the magic 3, you get to choose an intro.
All right, I'll have to think on that.
Okay. That's the voice of Jennifer Johnson from Inspire, continuing care with us for her 3rd appearance on Let's Talk Geneseo.
Has it really been 3?
Yes.
Wow.
3rd time's the charm.
Yeah.
There you go.
We need to give out like a little ribbon or something.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like SNL where they get the 5-timers club jacket or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something in the future.
Yeah.
There's lots of ideas, but
A lot of
Keith and I
ideas.
executing on the side radio gig businesses.
You know, there's really never a
Takes a
lack
backseat.
of ideas. It's really more the follow-up.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
But when you have a budget of 0, you're kind of restricted.
Well, there you go. That's part of it too.
Keith does a whole lot for this space, though, and it's probably changed a little bit since you've been here, Jen. We got the nice backdrop
Yeah, look at that
behind
nice.
you.
Isn't that nice?
So when the camera's on you, it's not filming a
Nice.
voided space in the wall.
Yeah.
Very good.
Big storage area and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Very cozy.
And we learned actually just that Jen actually has prior radio experience.
Oh, yeah.
We had learned that she had been involved with a radio station up in Minneapolis. So.
A million years ago.
Remember any of those commercials that you filmed? You want to give us a recap? Or?
No.
Well, there you go.
Mark, it's been a while since you've been on.
It has. November, December kind of turned out to be a little bit of a hectic schedule, with Thanksgiving holidays and out of town here and there. So, yeah, good to be back in the saddle again with you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. So Mark is our all things financial guest from Quad Cities Investment Group. So Mark, it's been a hot minute since you've been here. Why don't you give us your thoughts on the current condition of our labor market, our stock market, and what interest rates are doing? We hear a lot of talk on that this morning. They cut in for breaking national news for the new chair announcement I saw. So give us your thoughts.
Well, let's kind of take these one at a time instead of me just talking nonstop for 15 minutes here. Yeah. So I guess we can kind of start out with the labor market, so to speak. And kind of when you look at the U.S. economy, overall the economy is pretty strong. I mean, we just wrapped up the strongest economic growth for a quarter in 2 years. But then when you kind of take a little bit of a closer look at some of the the minutia within the economy. There's a couple of areas that aren't as strong as ideally we'd like them to be, and I think you could certainly point to the labor market as one of those. Labor market kind of has been gradually weakening over the past few years. This year, or I'm sorry, 2025 in January, we had an unemployment rate of 3.7%. It's kind of creeped up. We finished 2025 in December with that unemployment rate going from 3.7 up to 4.4%. I think we only averaged maybe about 49,000 new jobs a month, probably about 100,000 per month less than 2024. So yeah, you could certainly say that there is some weakness within the labor market. But kind of when you look at that 4.4 unemployment rate, you really can't say that we're kind of in a doom and gloom environment with respect to the labor market. The 25-year history average unemployment rate is 6.4%. So at the current rate of 4.4%, we're still well below that 25-year average. The Federal Reserve kind of had a meeting a couple of days ago. Their projection for 2026 this year is for that unemployment rate to kind of hover around that 4.4%. In 2027, come down a little bit more. So yeah, it's not ideal. It's not this robust, thriving job market, but it's kind of just hanging around for now. So,
yeah. All right. Well, give us your thoughts on the stock market at this moment.
Stock market, well, 2025, boy, we really kind of, the first 2 months, yeah, everything was really great in the stock market, like January, February, we were, all three major indexes, whether it was the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, all just kind of started going higher towards all new record highs. But then obviously, I think we all remember, kind of from like mid-February to mid-April, we did see this big pullback in the stock market. On President Trump's, tariffs and trade disputes, where I think the S&P 500 fell by about 19%. The NASDAQ fell down by, maybe 23, 24%. But then kind of, mid-April, we just kind of started seeing this surge in the stock market again, and we finished the year at all-time highs. As we kind of enter 2026, my thoughts on the U.S. stock market, it's going to remain a little bit choppy, which kind of November, December, we saw a lot of choppiness in the stock market, a lot of concerns about, tariffs, trade disputes. Obviously, one of the main drivers in the U.S. stock market the past couple of years has been the AI play, all these, the artificial intelligence, when you look at NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, Apple, to what extent are these big tech companies investing in artificial intelligence? But more importantly, what type of revenues are they starting to derive from all of this investment in artificial intelligence? And I think we've seen a little bit of choppiness the first couple weeks of January, where it's kind of that continuation of that play on artificial intelligence, where the technology stocks are really driving the market. But then again, we're in earnings season, and there's a little bit of anxiety of, are these artificial intelligence stocks, are they maybe a little bit overvalued? And to what extent are these, some of these companies, you look at Amazon literally investing hundreds of millions of dollars a year in artificial intelligence. To what extent can they keep up that pace of investment, and at what point do they really start deriving revenue from that investment? So I think it's going to be a little bit of choppiness, and kind of that's what we've seen over the past few weeks in January.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, and then as I mentioned in the lead-in a little bit, we saw some breaking news cut in this morning with a new appointment decision. So does that mean that we're going to immediately see lower interest rates. Is that how this works?
I wish. Kind of goes on to my earlier point. When you look at the economy from like a 30,000-foot level, there is a couple areas of weaknesses. One, I pointed to the labor market, and second, you can argue it's the housing market. And why is the housing market kind of struggling a little bit? It is because of those high interest rates, where the average 30-year mortgage is around 6.25%, which is fairly high when you look at where mortgage rates were maybe 4 or 5 years ago in the 2 to 3% range. As far as interest rates, I mean, this is kind of the big dynamic that's really been going on, and obviously President Trump has kind of inserted himself in this area. Interest rates have come down a little bit the last couple of years. The Fed funds rate, which kind of serves as a benchmark for, home mortgages, bank loans, auto loans, credit card rates. The Fed funds rate has come down a little bit, and the Federal Reserve, led by Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, has kind of been setting the tone, where it's come down a little bit. The argument now is, should the Fed funds rate, which again influences and dictates what consumers and businesses pay for their interest rates, should it come down a little bit more? Obviously, we've heard President Trump saying it should come down a lot more. But there's also a lot of people on Wall Street who also believe that the Fed funds rate should be coming down a little bit more. I'm in that category as well. I think interest rates are too high. And the fundamental disagreement is the Federal Reserve and Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell are of this economic mindset that we can't lower interest rates anymore because all these tariffs that's been going on the past 12 months is going to create an inflationary pressure. And as inflation, as they argue, gets pushed higher, we're going to have to potentially raise interest rates. So the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, is saying, look, we can't lower interest rates because ultimately all of this inflationary pressure caused by tariffs is going to cause interest rates to go higher. The problem is it's been 12 months and we haven't seen inflation go higher. Inflation right now is at about the same level as it was 12 months ago before all these tariffs went into effect. And if you've been following me on WQAD or reading a bunch of my articles in the Quad City Times, I've always argued that I follow more of a monetary theory approach, and tariffs don't cause inflation. We have to remember, what is a tariff? A tariff is a tax on an individual good imported from another country. Well, as consumers, we have a couple of ways to get around that. One, we can buy a similar good made here in the United States, or we can buy a similar good that's imported from another country that's tariffed at a lower rate. Or, we can buy that good that now costs a lot more. However, if we buy that good that now costs a lot more, we now have less money to buy on other goods and services, which creates a deflationary pressure on all those other goods and services. So net, there is no impact on inflation, and we're seeing the evidence of that. 12 months into these tariffs, inflation again is at the same level as it was before these tariffs went into effect. The problem that I see, and many people on Wall Street see, but also President Trump has been arguing, is that, look, tariffs don't cause inflation. And the interest rates are too high. There's no reason they should be this high. We need to start lowering interest rates. And again, the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell are saying, nope, tariffs cause inflation. It's just a matter of time until we start seeing all this evidence that tariffs do cause inflation. Again, my opinion, they don't. All the evidence we look at right now, there's no evidence of tariffs causing inflation. So, and again, one of the aspects of the economy that's really kind of struggling right now is the housing sector. Again, if we start lowering interest rates, that's a big chunk of the U.S. economy, whether it's home buying, whether it's home building, whether it's home remodeling and renovation. So I think if interest rates start coming down a little bit more, that could provide a nice tailwind to the economy. But sorry to put my economics cap on this morning. But again, that's my thought on interest rates. I do think interest rates are too high. With respect to, I believe you're right. I think President Trump did announce a new Fed chair who'll take office, I believe, in May. I think there will be a little bit more pressure on the Federal Reserve to start lowering interest rates. And again, my opinion, I think that's good. I think interest rates are too high as it is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of the housing market, we probably should mention that this week we saw, I believe it was a study done by Redfin, article released the 30 top or the fastest moving housing markets in the state of Illinois. Do you think Geneseo hit that list, Keith?
I think we did, Brandon.
Any guesses on where we fall?
Number 4.
Number 2.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Close.
Geneseo, Illinois. Number 2, the fastest moving housing markets in the state.
Good job, Geneseo.
All right.
Pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
It's good. It's good locally here for our condition, and shows the demand for homes, and even with interest rates where they are, it's tough to build new construction. That's for sure. We're seeing it happening, but there's a high demand for people to live in town in Geneseo. So
and that's another aspect of the high interest rates. You got to look at it not just from the buyers, and that's kind of been what restricting. And I promise I'm going to wrap this up here because we really want to talk to Jen. It's if you have an existing home mortgage that you got into a couple of years ago and you're at 2.5%, and how likely are you to buy a new home where, okay, you're selling your home that has a 2.5% mortgage, and now you're going to buy a home that's going to come with a 6.25% mortgage. But at the same time, you also have to look at the supply side of real estate. And you look at developers and builders, and when they finance the construction and building of all these projects, they're forced to pay a much higher interest rate, and one that restricts and eliminates a lot of potential housing. But two, if you're a developer and you're forced to pay a high interest rate to create this project, to build these houses, well, that's going to result ultimately in a higher cost to the consumer.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'll wrap things up on, because I know we all want to talk to Jen. Yeah.
Well, it's an important point. Yeah. Well, thank you, Mark. And Jen, let's take you off ice.
Okay. I'm not feeling it yet, but.
So welcome back, Jennifer Johnson, Inspire Continuing Care. For those who don't know about you, I think you guys are great at being out in the community. You speak at a lot of different events and have told the story of ICC. But why don't you give us a little bit of background on your program and the organization for those who may not have heard of you?
Sure. So I began my experience in the world of special education here in Geneseo Schools, and I worked for Geneseo Schools from 2010 to 2021. Over the course of that time, I got to know a lot of the students as well as their families, built a lot of relationships. And I began to be concerned as I went to the high school level here about what happens for these folks once they leave school. I knew that there were no services available here in Geneseo. So then COVID happened, spent a lot of time at home, had time to do some research and some planning, and just really felt like I was supposed to try and do something about that here within the boundaries of Geneseo. So I collaborated with a lot of folks to help me and guide me, and we were able to begin operating Inspire Continuing Care in August of 21, providing opportunities in the community for adults who had exited the school system.
Mm-hmm.
That's the short version.
I've heard the long version, and it's very good.
What makes ICC different than some of the other similar programs kind of in the Quad Cities area? One of the similar organizations that comes to mind is Abilities Plus in Kewanee. Maybe explain to our listeners here how is ICC different? What makes it unique from a lot of those other organizations?
Sure. Well, the first thing to consider is that we are similar in that we are mostly all nonprofit organizations who are providing services to individuals with disabilities and also to their families. So we do share that in common. There are a few things that kind of set us apart. You mentioned Abilities Plus. They're also located here in Henry County. Great organization. We have visited them a couple of times, and we have a relationship I do with, some of their administrative staff too. So what makes us unique from not only Abilities Plus, but other organizations in the Quad Cities area, Respectabilities is one that I think of. People with Purpose is out of the Iowa side, is that we do not accept state funding or federal funding for our program. So that makes us unique. Obviously, our location makes us unique because we're here. I wish that every community had their own location for folks with disabilities to plug in the adult realm. By
not accepting state funds.
Yep.
Maybe tell us a little bit. What does that allow you to do, or?
Yeah, good question. It allows us a little more freedom to design the program to meet the needs of the folks specific to our community. One of the biggest factors we're able to do is our day is longer. We are open from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That positively affects the families, the parents of these individuals, because most of them are still in the working world.
Yeah.
They haven't retired. So that longer day alleviates some pressure on them. State-funded programs, just because of the pot of money that's available, they're not able to fund staffing for a longer day. So they're typically limited to a 5 to 6 hour day.
That's it?
That's it. So that can, like 9 to 2 or, it.
I could see the strain that would place on families. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about some things that are coming up for you guys in the spring or summer or getting into fall. I know before the show we talked a little bit about Mark's cowboy boots coming back out of the closet for your big annual fundraiser. So I'm sure we can get into that a little bit too.
Yeah, so we do lots of activities as a group, of participants. You see us out and about, coffee shop, bank, post office, going out to eat. We do lots of things, just daily routine things that all adults do in the community. We also do some special events just for us. We'll be going to a Quad City Storm hockey game soon. We will be going to the River Bandits game. We go over to the Walcott Truckers Jamboree. So we like to get out to bigger events too. But for us, we host some things. In May, we do the yard sale. That Geneseo does the citywide yard sales, garage sales. We like to tag on to that, and that's a good opportunity for our participants to interact with the community. We will, in June, host our Karaoke in the Park concert. That's a lot of fun. Our participants prepare a song, and they perform on stage, and every year this has grown and grown with more and more community members coming out.
I went to that karaoke in the park last year, and I encourage everybody. That's a very neat event, and all of our listeners I'm sure you'll see Jen's posting, advertising it, and promoting it. But I encourage everybody to go to that great event.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, yes, you alluded to the cowboy boots. We decided that ICC needed a signature fundraiser that we just have every year. That instead of, this little thing and this little thing, we just need a big thing. So through a big process, we came up with the Big Buckle Barn Dance. And we've had 2 years of that. This year in October, it'll be our 3rd annual. It is a hoot. And yes, Mark, the first year, I think he bought a plaid shirt to look like a cowboy. So
Minimal effort,
It's
Mark.
small
Minimal
steps.
effort.
Yeah.
It's small steps.
So I kind of, challenged him to every year add one article of cowboy attire to his wardrobe. So this year, we know we'll see the shirt, but I'm expecting a hat, maybe a belt buckle or
Maybe some
boots.
chaps.
I
Ooh,
Chaps?
I could do the belt buckle.
That's 2.
I don't know if I could do the hat.
Why?
Well, maybe I'll do the hat over the boots. Yeah.
Dream big, Mark. Dream big.
Anyway, yeah.
But they do have a mechanical bull as well.
Yes. Yeah,
I'll
that
do
is
that.
a lot of fun, and we thank Central Bank has been our sponsor for the Mechanical Bull for 2 years, and it is a great time. Nobody has been injured on the bull. That's good.
That's good.
Make sure you sign that waiver.
Oh, no, it's a good time. So yeah, that tickets for that typically open August 1st, and it does sell out. So mark your calendar, plan ahead, be ready. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, I'm going to put that note on the calendar because I think the past 2 years I've checked too late. They just go, they go quick.
Yeah.
So, got to get them.
And for people out there who do want to kind of get more involved in ICC, maybe just not on a financial side, but maybe they kind of want to get more involved on a personal level, maybe donate some of their time. What are some of the ways of community outreach that they can get involved with ICC?
Well, you may have seen the Chamber posted something about us recently, and it's called What the Hex? And that's an acronym for Hobby, Experience, Collection, or Skill. It's basically show and tell. We want members of the community to come into our space and demonstrate or expose us to something that they enjoy. And we've had quite a few of those this past year, and we look forward to doing, hopefully 2 a month in 2026. So if you have a hidden talent, skill, hobby, collection, anything that you'd like to share with us, we would love to have you. So you can reach out to us.
Excellent. Well, we're right on time here today. This is great.
We are right on time.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to share that we didn't recap on ICC? Or
I guess just one thing just about our funding model. People ask about that a lot since we don't take state funds, and I just wanted to encourage people. We have a very generous community here in Geneseo, so we've been well supported by a wide variety of local foundations. We also have a lot of folks who contribute to us either monthly or annually, businesses and individuals. So that's how we run, and that's how we're able to offer these services at a reduced rate to our participants. So you're really benefiting the community as a whole, but really touching the lives of these participants and their families. So
It's a great organization.
yeah. Well, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Mark. Keith, anything city-wise you would like to recap? We had a council meeting this past Tuesday. We're about to break ground on project season, so a lot of big infrastructure projects coming up and things that we're going to start to see movement on starting in March.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it last week, but combining the final 2 phases of State Street into one, so that'll the stretch from Wells to Ogden will be completed later this year and wrapping that up. But a number of other things on the schedule just moving forward with, looking at some regulatory changes that will mandate some changes at the wastewater treatment plant, that we're getting the ball rolling and getting ahead of that. But but really nothing too new and earth-shattering beyond that, at least that I can remember, Brandon. You know, that was several days ago.
Yeah, if you do live on State Street between Wells and Ogden, you probably received a letter yesterday, or you should receive it today. If you did not, if you don't have it yet, but you'll be invited to a neighborhood meeting to talk about the project and how it impacts you abutting that project there. So that'll be on February 11th. I believe it's February 11th at 6 p.m. in the council chambers for those who want to attend, and we'll talk about how the contractor and the engineers are going to manage some of the inconveniences that are certainly going to come with completely tearing up a roadway in front of your home.
Yeah, and one thing I should mention this too, but the Historical Museum here in town, we've had a project in place to build our digital archives. So part of that would be videos and that sort of thing. But there is a YouTube channel now that the museum has. You can just do a search for Geneseo Historical Museum, and there's probably about 15 or more videos on there now, and just some kind of neat historical things to check out there if you're so inclined, and we'll be adding to that here fairly steadily over the next few months. So
Past episodes of the old TV program.
There's old JCTVs on there. We have the old Armory building when it caught fire. We have that on there. Just kind of a mix and match of interesting things that have been sitting kind of in a drawer for 30 years. I figured I probably should get these transferred to a more usable format type thing. But kind of fun looking back on the things, and several things too, city related. We did a tour of the power plant back, I think, in '98. And it's just neat, even over this period of time, how quite a few things really have changed here in town. But also the obvious, many things have also stayed the same. But it's kind of neat to look back.
Yeah. Nice local history, putting it in digital format.
There you go. Lives forever there, Brandon. Just
Right.
like these programs live forever.
You never die on the internet, Keith.
That's right. Someday someone will go, and these guys did this. Why?
Who are these two idiots?
Well, they had, a lot of free time. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, always a pleasure. Mark and Jen, as always, thank you very much for
Good to
stopping
be back.
in this morning.
Good to see you again. Yeah.
And we'll try and have it a little warmer next time. Next time you're back with us. And to our viewers and listeners, we appreciate you very much tuning in. And this has been Let's Talk Geneseo here on WGRG 100.5 FM in Geneseo. Have a great weekend.